Good afternoon. I hope you're having a great first day of summer. I know if you look outside, it's kind of hard to believe it's the first day of summer. Outside, gray skies, threatening rain again. 69 degrees according to my watch just a second ago. Doesn't exactly feel like summer, but hey, the heat will get here soon enough. Let's enjoy this while we can. Today's verse is Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 through 10. Paul had a special relationship with the church in Philippi. He loved them deeply, and they loved him back. That wasn't always the case with some of the other churches. He had to fight with some of the other ones, but Philippi was very close to him, and he loved them. And so as we're coming into the beginning of the letter, and Paul describes in verses 9 through 10 what he's praying for these people that he loves. We should pay attention to that because, Paul was a very deep thinker. If he's praying for something specifically for people he loves, that's probably a good prayer for us too. That probably tells us something important. So let's look at these verses, Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 through 10. And it is my prayer that your love may abound more and more with knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve what is excellent, and so be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. Let's kind of break that down. It's my prayer that your love may abound more and more. That's the first thing he wants for these people that he loves. He wants their love to abound more and more. He wants that love to keep growing, to grow in intensity, to grow in volume, to get bigger and bigger, to become more and more consuming in their lives. That's important for us to understand. That tells us what we should be doing. We should be growing in love more and more. That love should be abounding. Our love for God should be growing every day. Our love for the people around us, the people that God puts in front of us, should be growing every day. Now, how do you make love grow? It seems like, if you look at media, love is something that happens or it doesn't happen. You fall in love. You fall out of love. It's a lightning bolt that strikes you. Well, I'm not sure that I'm convinced about any of that. Love is something that you have to work at. Love is an action. It's a verb. It's something that you do much more than it's something that you feel. If you do loving things, you will feel love. If you don't do loving things, then you will feel less love. For people who say, well, we've been married for a long time and we've just kind of fallen out of love. I don't believe that. What I believe is you stop doing the things that show love for people. If we will love people, if we will pray for them, if we will do things that are loving to them, our love will grow. The same thing in relationship to our love for God. As we spend time with God, as we listen to Him, as we read His Word, as we talk with Him, as we commune with Him, our love is going to grow. If our love isn't growing, let's stop and think, how are we spending our time with God? How is that going? If we're not feeling as much love as we're used to towards God, the solution isn't to pull away from Him. The solution is to draw closer to Him and let Him beef that up in your life. Because He is love. If we're spending time with Him, how can we not love? So Paul's prayer, it is in my prayer, he says, that your love may abound more and more. Now, let's pay attention because there's more going on here. I could preach a whole sermon on this passage, but I will not give you 30 minutes worth today. I'll just give you a little bit. It's Paul's prayer that their love will abound more and more with knowledge. Don't forget that. Love isn't just a feeling. It's not just hearts and flowers, beep, 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 over your head. Love involves knowledge as well. We need to understand more. We need to learn about God. We need to learn what He teaches. We need to learn what it's like to live with Him and to walk with Him day in and day out. Our knowledge should always be increasing just as our love is increasing. Same thing with the people we love. I'll give you an example. People that I used to work with when I was in school. I could love them on one level, I could love them with the love of Christ. But if I didn't know them very well, it was really easy to mess up. It wasn't hard. Say the wrong word, step on a verbal landmine, and blow everything up. That happened from time to time. Love requires knowledge. With my wife and my daughter, who I know deeply, I can love them on a whole nother level than the people that I used to work with because I know them well. I love them more. And I know how to love them better because I know them. So our love should abound more and more with knowledge. We need to get to know God better. We need to get to know people better and to know better how to love them. Okay? The third thing, I'll move along because I know that you're only giving me a few minutes. You're not giving me a whole sermon today. The third thing that we need to grow in, that our love needs to abound with knowledge and with discernment, with all discernment, it says. What does discernment mean? Well, for me, the best way that I can think about discernment is application. Discernment means being able to look at a situation, be able to look at something that's going on, and to be able to figure out how love applies in this situation, how knowledge applies in this situation, so that I know what to do. Love without knowledge is incomplete. Love and knowledge without discernment doesn't really get as much done. You need to be growing in love. We need to be growing in love. We need to be growing in knowledge. We also need to be growing in discernment so that we know what to do, so that we know how to make decisions, so that we know how to reach people, so that we know what to say and how to share the love of Christ with them. And it says, to wrap things up, it says, as our love is abounding more and more, as we're growing in knowledge, as we're growing in discernment, the result of all that is so that we can approve what is excellent. What does that mean? So that we can spend time doing the best thing, doing the thing that is the most valuable, the most important, and to be pure and blameless for the day of Christ. I just remembered something that I read actually a few minutes ago, or a little earlier this morning, as I was looking at this passage, and I forgot to pull it up. So let me pull it up right this second and read it, because I thought this was how we do it. As we're growing in love, as we're growing in knowledge, as we're growing in discernment, so that we know what is excellent and we can approve that so that we can be pure and blameless in the day of Christ. This is kind of the goal I want to leave you with. As we love God with our hearts and minds, lean into knowledge and faith, and embrace truth and grace, we can experience a more complete picture of God's beautiful plan. We can shine light into an increasingly dark world. We can add vision, clarity, and meaning to whatever circles we frequent. We can be known for loving our Creator and loving the people around us. We can live God-honoring lives until the day we meet our Savior face to face. Friends, that's my prayer for you today. And that's my prayer for myself, that our love will abound more and more, that we will grow in knowledge and in all discernment, so that we can experience and know what is excellent, so that we can be pure and blameless in the day of Christ, so that we can shine His light into an increasingly dark world. Go and share God's love today. Get to know Him better. Grow in knowledge, grace, and discernment. Have a great day. We'll see you again.